The air in Lagos hung heavy, an intoxicating blend of exhaust fumes, sizzling akara, and the relentless hum of a city that never truly sleeps. The streets pulsed with life, each corner teeming with stories, street hawkers darting between snarled traffic, their voices a symphony of persistence against a backdrop of blaring horns and revving engines. Among them was Akwabata, a boy of 10, his head steady under the weight of a tray stacked with bread. His frame was small, his steps light, but his eyes carried a fire that could illuminate the darkest of nights. Every morning before the sun painted the sky with hues of gold and pink, Akwabata's day began. The uneven floors of his grandmother's dilapidated home creaked beneath his quick footsteps. The house stood precariously, a mosaic of patched wood and rusting metal, yet it was a sanctuary bound by love and faith. Inside, Mama Ekene sat cross-legged on a worn mat, her Bible ever present, her voice carrying the cadence of someone who had wrestled with life and won, if only in spirit. "Akwabata, my child, come here," she called one fateful morning, her voice warm but commanding. The boy approached, his bare feet silent on the cracked cement. She rested her weathered hands on his head, her touch firm yet tender. "Do not forget the meaning of your name," she said, her eyes locking onto his. "You carry wealth in your destiny. Greatness will come, but only if you walk in the light of God. Do you understand?" "Yes, Mama," Akwabata whispered, though the weight of her words pressed down on him like the tray of bread he balanced daily. He was a child carrying a prophecy, unsure if his slender shoulders could bear it. By mid-morning, the streets were Akwabata's domain. "Fresh bread, hot bread," he called out, his voice slicing through the city's chaos. There was an energy in his cries, a magnetic charm that drew customers his way. Each sale was a step closer to a dream he could barely articulate, a future unshackled from the chains of poverty. The clink of coins in his pocket was more than just money. It was hope, piece by piece. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Akwabata would retreat to their dimly lit home, the soft glow of a kerosene lamps his only companion. He pored over borrowed textbooks, his grandmother's words echoing in his mind. Education is the key to freedom. And when his eyes grew heavy, Mama Ekene would regale him with stories of resilience and faith, tales of his grandfather, a man who had once owned a cocoa farm and dreamed boldly. "Dreams are not enough, Akwabata," she would say, her voice tinged with both pride and warning. "You must act boldly and wisely." One day, that wisdom was tested. On his way home from school, a gang of older boys surrounded him, their eyes gleaming with menace. "Hand over the money, bread boy," one spat, his voice laced with cruelty. Akwabata's heart thundered in his chest, his fists clenching in defiance. But survival trumped pride, and with trembling hands, he surrendered the crumpled Naira notes. That night, he buried his face in his pillow, silent tears soaking through as shame gnawed at him. Yet, through the darkness, Mama Ekene's words rang clear. "You carry wealth in your destiny." It was a turning point. From that moment, Akwabata vowed to rise above the hardships that sought to define him. He poured himself into his studies with a ferocity that astonished his teachers. The streets of Lagos taught him resilience. His grandmother instilled faith. Together, they forged a boy determined to rewrite his story. At 16, the fruits of his labor blossomed. A letter arrived, stamped with the seal of a prestigious scholarship to the United Kingdom. When Mama Ekene read it aloud, her joy erupted into song. She danced barefoot on the cracked cement floor, her laughter filling their tiny home. Akwabata stood in the doorway watching her, his heart swelling with gratitude and resolve. He was no longer just a boy with a tray of bread. He was a dreamer, a fighter, and soon he would be the man his grandmother always believed he could be. "Aquabata, do you see? God has remembered you." Mama Ekine's voice cracked as she pulled him into a fierce embrace, her frail frame trembling with joy. Tears carved paths down her weathered cheeks as she cupped his face with her calloused hands. "Go, my son, go and make us proud, but never forget where you come from." Her words echoed in Aquabata's mind as he stepped onto foreign soil, the brisk chill of the UK biting through his thin coat. Everything felt alien: the clipped accents, the endless grey skies, the bland food that paled in comparison to the fiery richness of jollof rice and pepper soup. But Aquabata was no stranger to challenges. He threw himself into his studies with a fervour born of necessity, determined to honour his grandmother's faith in him. In his second year, his path intersected with Zimuzo, a brash, magnetic fellow Nigerian who approached life with a swagger that Aquabata found both irritating and intriguing. Their friendship sparked during a group project when Zimuzo effortlessly took charge, his wit leaving their classmates in stitches. "You're too serious, my brother," Zimuzo teased one evening, nudging Aquabata as they pored over a mountain of books in the library. "Books are good, but they won't pay your bills. Money moves the world. Think bigger." Intrigued, Aquabata pressed him for details, and Zimuzo unveiled the world of investing, a realm Aquabata had never considered. The idea was dizzying, even intimidating, but his curiosity outweighed his fear. Night after sleepless night, Aquabata devoured articles, watched tutorials, and pored over financial data. His first investment, a modest few £100 in a fledgling tech startup, yielded little. But Aquabata's sharp instincts and relentless drive wouldn't allow him to stop. He scoured markets, honed his strategies, and struck gold when he invested in a renewable energy company that skyrocketed after a government endorsement. The returns were life-changing. By the time Aquabata donned his graduation cap, he wasn't just a scholar, he was a millionaire. His ascent was meteoric. He diversified into real estate, acquiring prime properties in the UK, and ventured into Nigeria's lucrative oil industry, leveraging his growing network to secure high-stakes contracts. Yet amidst the trappings of wealth, Aquabata remained tethered to his roots. Mama Ekene's lessons in faith and humility never left him. He became a pillar in his church, funding scholarships and community projects, determined to give others the opportunities he had fought so hard to seize. But beneath the polished veneer of philanthropy lay a man at war with his flaws. Wealth brought temptation, and Aquabata succumbed. Women were drawn to him, not just for his looks, but for the magnetic aura of power he exuded. What began as innocent flirtations spiraled into a string of fleeting affairs, each one a betrayal of the values he once held dear. Thank you for watching and diving into this journey with us. Be sure to catch the next episode, and if this story moved you, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more captivating African tales. Don't forget to tap the notification bell to stay inspired and connected to the wisdom and heart of these stories. Until next time, stay blessed and keep shining.